Aloha and welcome to Trust and Verify, the show where we try to tell you who not to trust and who to verify all the time, and that's pretty much everybody. But before we get to tonight's episode of Trust and Verify, let me bring in my friend, my partner, my co-host, Boogie Bumper. Boogie, how's it going?
Well, how good can it be with the Orange Man in the White House, James? Like, how good can it be for us, for you, for me, for the world? The world is literally crying right now. And this tyrant is running around destroying the earth with climate change, James. And, you know, how good can I be when so many minorities are unsafe? Like, if you're joining us, please don't share this out. We don't want to invite any more bigots here. Like, really, like, I've had it up to here. Obviously you're all Trump tards and, you know, you get around calling us snowflakes, but I really don't want to attract any more bigots to this show. So if you could just not share it out, that would be excellent. Thank you. But, you know, how good can we be? Like, the world's being run by Nazis. What can I say? We just need more tolerance.
I'm sorry. I can't keep a straight face. Please don't listen to Boogie, everybody. We're going to go to a commercial break real quick. Do not listen to Boogie. Share the show. Share it with everybody. We will be right back.
Do you lie awake at night pondering life's big questions? Is there a God? What is the meaning of life? How would one do an hour-long sports show without ever actually talking about sport? If yes, we can help you answer 33% of these pressing questions. All you have to do is check out The Starting Block on tavshow.com, Periscope, Stream Me, or YouTube, Wednesday mornings at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also download the podcast on iTunes just by searching for The Starting Block in the store or at thestartingblock.podbean.com. Or if you're really desperate for answers, why not check us out on Twitter at The Starting Block, no K at the end, don't forget to drop that K. Enlightenment is now only a click away.
Now that is a freaking awesome commercial. Aloha and welcome back to everyone to the Trust and Verify Tab Show. Listen, let me give you a couple of quick updates real quick. You see that timer that's clicking away? We've been doing the commercials. We've been doing the segment. We've been getting it going. Well, we are decided we are now going to go to free range Trust and Verify. Yes, we are off the leash. We are taking off our own personal shackles and we are going to just take a break whenever the hell we feel like it. So the timer doesn't mean anything. We're going to do what we want to do, when we want to do it, and how we want to do it. So, that being said, Boogie, what do we want to do next?
I think we want to explain what the grey man on Twitter is all about.
I think we do. I think that there's some people that need some enlightenment brought to them, and we are about to enlighten you.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of sarcasm, this one will hit very close to the bone. This was the article that's anti-progressive online communities. That's twice we've used anti-progressive in about 50 words. That's telling you something about the bias of the...
I hate to do this to you. I hate to interrupt you like this. I don't know what happened, but honestly, as soon as we shifted to you starting to talk about this article, we lost all the sounds. Yep. But we're back now. We've got the sound back. So basically, we need to somehow figure out how to reset your Australian Grey persona and start this whole segment over.
Yeah, there we go. How's that? I told you everything was bad in the world. Bigots and Nazis are obviously running the internet. Like, have some empathy. Sometimes I feel sometimes I feel so much, James. I feel so much hurt and I feel so much pain that my feelings have feelings. Did you know that?
Yeah,
that's how I feel. All right. So how the NPC meme tries to dehumanize SJWs. From time to time, especially if you're a fan of science fiction, you may have had the thought that nobody around you is actually real. That sentiment has taken root in anti-progressive parts of the internet as a dehumanizing meme, and it borrows some familiar gaming terminology. About a month ago, a meme along those lines took root on 4chan. It was actually popular about 2 years ago. So the in-depth reporting has not been as in-depth as we would otherwise like to think. Among anti-progressive online communities, the author there uses anti-progressive twice in about 50 words, which shows you something about their bias. It's called the NPC meme, and it goes like this. Out there in the world, there are literal NPCs, the term for non-playable characters in video games, who have no internality whatsoever. There are some giveaways, of course. They spit out canned lines like, good weather today, huh? And flock to normie trends. Ugg boots still a thing. And for the most part, share the same uncritical worldview. The classic melancholy meme, Wojak, a sad man crudely drawn in Microsoft Paint, has now received the NPC treatment, and now he looks even more androgynous. Part crackpot social theory, part elementary school insult, the NPC meme originated from a deeply comical medley of bogus physics and stupid religion found on the messaging board of 4chan. 4chan. Originally posted in 2016, it resurfaced last month. I have a theory that there are only a fixed quantity of souls on planet Earth that cycle continuously through reincarnation, a 4chan poster wrote. However, since the human growth rate is so severe, the soulless extra walking flesh piles around us are NPCs, or ultimate normal fags, who autonomously follow groupthink and social trends in order to appear connivingly human. NPCs aren't even worthy of a classic wake-up sheeple. They can't. So basically the story behind this is people are getting on Twitter and using this NPC meme to mirror popular sort of progressive buzz talking points back to progressives. And, you know, it's basically sarcasm at the next level. And now they're getting banned, you see, because it turns out like this really upset them. It really upset them to have their own talking points presented back to them. And I wonder, like, is that now peak insanity? Because they can't even tolerate their own opinions anymore. Like, now if you're an
they've become intolerant of their own tolerance.
Of themselves. Exactly. It's incredible. They are parodies of themselves. And this is just reminding them, because they know that it's like a meme, but there's nothing, the people aren't actually saying anything offensive, right? They're just taking the SJW mindset and flipping it back to them. Mm-hmm. You know, so someone will come on and say, oh, be careful, this is an NPC bot. And they'll say something like, you should really be more tolerant. Stop trying to ban progressives from Twitter, you know? And then like, oh, I can't say that. So it's absolutely sensational. But I think this is pointing to a bigger thing, like meme culture particularly. And what I wanted to ask you about, James, and I want to give you a couple of launch pads here to jump off. Thanks everyone for joining us in the chat, by the way. Yeah, so have fun with that. The NPC memes, just put NPC in the search, and the ones that aren't banned yet, you will laugh your tits off, trust me. This came out 2 days ago, James. Facebook tempts political backlash with massive purge of 810 pages and accounts. Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't.
Okay. This is just in the lead up to the midterms. This is from the known right-wing conspiracy website Gizmodo. Facebook has been fending off accusations of censorship and bias against conservatives over the last year or so. And just ahead of the US midterm elections, it has made a risky decision. Today, the company announced that it removed 559 pages and 251 accounts for rule violations. It said many of the accounts were engaged in spreading political content. Oh, okay. So that's how to spread content.
Hello.
That's a new rule. Since the 2016 US presidential election, Facebook has been, listen to the language here, listen to the way it's presented. Facebook has been under pressure to address the issue of fake news being spread on its platform. Now, I know a lot of people like to laugh at Alex Jones. He was saying in late 2015, he said, you watch, in a couple of years, they are just going to label us as fake news as a means of taking us off the internet. And, you know, he became like what would you say, like the real world manifestation of his own theory in live time. Like it happened to him first. Yep. And he always says, like, no, it's not about me. They're coming after me so they can come after all of you. Like, if you accept this to me, then you'll accept it to everybody else.
That's right.
Fake news means different things to different people. For some, it's factual information they disagree with. For others, it means completely inaccurate information that's passed off as journalism. Facebook has focused on disrupting foreign influence campaigns. Looks like I'm in the shit. Looks like I'm out of a job. That are designed to sway political opinion in the US from outside its borders. In recent months, we've seen Facebook take down networks of pages that it claimed were conducting disinformation campaigns from Russia and Iran. What makes this week's removals different is that Facebook claims the pages and accounts were likely built and run by Americans. The reason I want to bring this up on the back of that meme story is forget about fake news. So these memes that are now getting banned, these NPC memes, are literally just putting out progressive talking points. That's the whole act. And it's funny because it's sarcasm, but the line between parody and what these people actually say and what these people actually believe is so blurred because you really can't tell the difference anymore because that's how insane they've gotten. So now they're banning them. Remember, was it 3 weeks ago, a month ago, James, you were talking about memes, right?
Yep.
Why it's important to start meming because of the content war that's about to take place in the lead up to the midterms. It's happening right now. Exactly. And it's not about fake news. It's about just repeating progressive talking points.
Absolutely. Let me start with this. Hi, everybody that joined us late. Aloha. We can see you. I can see all the chat from all of our platforms. We are live right now on stream.me. We are live on YouTube and we are live on Periscope. So if your signal's not working very well for you on one of those platforms, jump to another platform. The chat is unified. I can see all of you guys. So thanks for joining. Aloha. See you in the chat. It's, of course, impossible to keep up with the chat, but I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. PBT Mitasol. Yes, that just came in from YouTube. I see DMA loves YBA. You're on Periscope. And I just saw somebody over there on StreamMe, I think was, I'm going to screw it up. If I say the name and I screw it up, it's F Campbell 01. So I see you all. We see you everywhere. So yeah, this NPC meme, I want you guys, first of all, to embrace it. Like, understand what's going on and use it to your deadly advantage here in the meme war. This is culture. This is exactly what they're doing, is that the NPC non-player characters, if you guys have forgotten where we started, so let's give you a little rehash what it actually means. I'm still not nicotine. I am letting you guys know that, Fritz, and I saw earlier Poppy Lane say that the reason that the sound quit working is because I didn't have any nicotine. That could be true. The brain has been off. I have not had nicotine in over a week, but I am surviving. But the NPC player is all the characters in every video game you've ever played against that's not a multiplayer game. So when you walk into those video games and the character starts talking to you, that's an NPC player. That's what is going on here, is that the guys from 4chan, right? The guys from Poll and other trolls like our friends like Zero Hour, these people, they're taking these personas on and they're literally just spitting back the lefty talking points right back at them. And they're causing these people to lose their minds and beg for those accounts to be banned and removed for spitting their talking points. Like, think about that. These people are losing their minds over their own talking points. That's why the meme is powerful. The meme is there. And since we're talking about memes, I'm going to give you a new flavor. I'm going to give you something that you're only going to hear here, and you're only going to hear it here this one time. And then we're going to wait and we're going to see what happens. Let me explain to you how powerful the meme is. The president of the United States is elected based on memeing culture war. The president of the United States memed into existence MAGA. Make America Great Again. We, the people, embraced it, owned it, and became it. We now consider ourselves MAGA. How much do we consider ourselves MAGA? The president tried to launch CAG and it has not taken off. The president keeps talking about CAG and it's not going anywhere. Why? Because we're not CAG. We're MAGA. We have embraced MAGA to a level that the president who memed MAGA into existence is fighting an uphill battle to try to meme CAG into existence. And I don't think it's going to work. And I don't think it's even necessary. And here's why. The meme is set. Think about this. When I say the meme is set, it's set. No matter what everybody else has tried, it has never failed to move. It is not what we're going to do here. Kanye West was in the president's office, in the Oval Office the other day. And he said something brilliant. And people missed it. Besides motherfucker, he said something else that was way more brilliant. And it flew under the radar. And you are going to see it. Kanye West said, "You gave me a Superman cape. This hat is my Superman cape. But I wish my cape said MAG, because a lot of people are using the again against us. So MAG 45 has a chance to be memed into existence between Kanye West and the president, because all he has to do is say, "Make America greater." Oh my Lord. Imagine this. Memed into existence from the Oval Office between President Trump and Kanye West. Make America greater. And we are rolling, people. You'll never hear that anywhere else. That's what I'm putting out there right now when we start talking about memes. Boogie, what do you got?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the best part about memes is you don't have to read a lot of books to understand them either. So there you go. Suck on that, lemons. I've got a story here. Like, I want to transition, but I want to show how this is all related. Okay, check this out. This is from the 20th of September this year. Facebook is setting up a war room ahead of Brazil and US elections, and I've got a story about Brazil and why. Something that you said a few months ago, James, about getting together and getting into communities, right? Why it's important.
Right.
Okay. Facebook hopes it won't be caught off guard when it comes to future elections, like the social network has admitted it was after miscreants abused the platform during the miscreants. So those are the NPCs that you're talking about, like the NPC drivers, the programmers of the NPC meme. Those are the miscreants. In case you didn't know, the company is setting up a physical and digital war room at its headquarters in Menlo Park, California, to monitor what's going on with upcoming elections in the States and Brazil, Facebook said Wednesday. Remember, this was the 20th of September, a month ago. 2 days ago, 810 pages purged. See, we have a tendency, don't we, because of the speed of the news cycle, like everything just goes down the memory hole. We tend to forget 1 week to the next and 1 month to the next, but everything is out there. And again, this is from the known right-wing conspiracy websites Gizmodo and CNET. Okay, so we're not taking this from fringe places. This is mainstream stuff, and it's all there. It's all in front of you all the time. It's just a matter of looking and knowing where to look. Listen to this. The teams involved in the effort will be from several different parts of the company, including engineering, threat intelligence, data science, threat intelligence, right? So you are a threat, MAGA. Wow. MAGA means you are a threat. Data science and legal, Facebook said during a conference call with reporters. There'll be more than 300 people in the war room group, but only about 20 people will be in the room itself, Facebook told the New York Times. So real news telling real news. It's only 20 people. Don't be crazy. It's only 20 people. Relax. It's not a war room. No, it's a conference center. Yeah. The threat police. No, that's just our internal name for the tolerance outreach program. That's what we call them. here at Facebook. Silicon Valley's tech giants are still in the doghouse after Russian trolls used their platform to sow discord and false news among US voters in the 2016 elections. For the 500th time, Facebook and I think it was Twitter's own lawyer in Senate hearings, like under oath, said the amount of tweets during the 2016 election that actually came from Russia constituted 0.0001% of all tweets during the 2016 election. This is now morphed, thanks to disinformation. This is now morphed into, this is what installed President Donald Trump, right? So it's a false story. Facebook, Google, and Twitter have said that they've already detected new campaigns from foreign actors attempting to influence public opinion ahead of the midterm elections in the States. Now, let me show you how, because, you know, if we think about this control system, James, and there's a lot of debate now about Facebook, Google, Twitter, these companies basically are the gatekeepers. They hold like upwards of 80% of all traffic on the internet now. And they can really restrict the ability for people to get their message through. But what the meme represents is kind of, if you think about it, you know, in an abstract way, what a meme is, it's kind of like a virus injected into a computer system, because the very system that they can use to control like what information gets to all people, because everybody has Facebook and Twitter on their phone and Google on their phone, that very same system can be used against them in the form of a meme. It dodges a lot of algorithms. It's not text-based, right? It's picture-based, so it's a much more difficult to pick up. And it can spread like a wildfire through the system, because you send it to one person, that person posts it, it might get retweeted 1,000 times. And then 1,000 people retweet it. And then 1,000 and 1,000. Next thing you know, it's spread throughout the entire system. So the kind of control net that they've built to keep us only being fed certain information can actually be used against them. And that's why they're cracking down on things like the NPC, because it exposes the kind of insane fringe of the Democrat movement. But check this out. Now, this was 2 years ago. This is how I'm sorry. I need to like explain this a bit at length so it makes sense. This was 2 years ago, May the 4th. This shows you, if you consider the Facebooks and the Twitters and the Googles, remember, demoralization is a campaign here. They want you to feel isolated. They want you to feel alone. They want you to feel like there is absolutely no overcoming the censorship barriers that are placed in front of you. Okay? Number one, memeing can do that. But this just goes to show you that they're not very forward thinking. The two articles I'm going to show you here. First up, CNN, well-known right-wing conspiracy website. Brazil judge overturns ban on WhatsApp. Remember, 2 years ago, a judge has ordered WhatsApp service be reinstated across Brazil, granting an appeal by the messaging app's parent company, Facebook. So the Brazilian government that was in power at the time, which has since been removed, because, you know, it's a big election. There's like a Brazilian Donald Trump basically now, James, down in Brazil. And it looks like he's going to become president. So 2 years ago, the government at the time in Brazil said, we need to get rid of WhatsApp. Now, why would they need to get rid of an internet messaging service, right? Why would that be important to the current party in power? What can be achieved by being in these groups and these rooms on, you know, apps like Twitter, Facebook, and WhatsApp and Telegram? What can be achieved that they don't like? It's community, right? It's magnifying, and they call it like a microphone effect. That's right. Like you can blast a message out because you amplify it by all of the people that are in that room. It's unclear when the WhatsApp service will be available for users in Brazil. It's expected to be restored once operators are notified of the judge's design. Now, check this out. I posted this article in a couple of Telegram rooms not that long ago, and I don't think people got the message here. It's Brazil edges toward Bolsonaro as last resort leader. So this is the populist. This is the Brazilian Donald Trump. Scan down the article here. This is the New York Times. Okay, look at this. Again, New York Times. So the information is out there if you know what you're looking for. As they took stock of the new political landscape, political scientists and academics said Monday that the Bolsonaro phenomenon may have changed how campaigns are run in Brazil. Treat this as a microcosm. Treat this as a test case. unlike rivals who have far more time on national television, who does that remind you of? Hillary Clinton, which is awarded Beto O'Rourke, for example, Barack Obama, which is awarded based on party size and who bought polished ads. Mr. Bolsonaro ran a scrappy, inexpensive campaign powered mainly by what? Social media. Donald Trump circa 2016, right? Supporters created hundreds of group chats on the messaging app WhatsApp. So Facebook, went to the Court of Appeals in Brazil to have WhatsApp unbanned by the then Brazilian government, who apparently knew more about this threat than Facebook themselves did, because now they have a war room specifically targeting people who use these apps in Brazil ahead of this election. Like, they've learned their lesson, right? WhatsApp, which the vast majority of Brazilians use, sharing campaign information, jokes, memes, and conspiracy theories. Victor Paya, a sociologist who studies political communication at the State University in Rio de Janeiro, said it was unclear how much the campaign had coordinated with chat groups, but he said it was clear it played a role in steering the narratives and benefited from the platform's message amplifying effect. Quote, "This type of communication is less top-down," right? Mr. Paya, quote, "Everyone is the curator of their own content, and this makes the information distributed there more appealing." Why are they cracking down on memes? Because in 2016, the Brazilian government of the day knew that this was going to be a threat, and Facebook, because they're a company, they're a behemoth, they said, no, you need to make our app available to all the people. Now, just a couple of years later, Facebook is purging its own website of various pages. They've set up a war room, right? And it's all to do with this idea that you were talking about a few months ago, why it's important to get involved, create communities, share, link, have conversations, and get together, because this is how you fight back, to steal a James-ism quote. Am I right or am I wrong? There it is. There's in the New York bloody Times.
Absolutely, absolutely right. And this is exactly why we've been fighting all along. We set this up. We set these things in motion. It took us time. Look where we're peaking, everyone. What is next month? Where are we at? 3 weeks away from elections. We are peaking exactly on time because we did the work last year, the year before that, because we've been building as a community. And one of the best lines I loved out of that story, it literally tickles my fancy to hear it, was when they said that this is less top down. No shit. How about it's no top down? How about this is why we the people say Donald Trump is one of us, because he's literally saying what we're saying. They're hearing us. The people in the White House are listening to us on these shows. How can I prove that? I don't know. Laura Trump goes on Your Voice America. I hang out with people from Your Voice America. You hang out with me. Let's just think about this, people. I don't know. Don Jr. hangs out, watches Your Voice America. I don't know. The entire White House watches Steel Truth. Just think about this, guys. Who's watching who? Are we watching them to tell us what to do? No. They're watching us, just like he promised on the campaign trail. Exactly like he promised. That we were going to return the power to the people. That we were going to put the people back in charge of their government. And it's glorious watching it happen right now, real time, through social media. And the people, the leftists that want to think that they were going to control the new paradigm. The people that thought that they were just going to take the same techniques from television, from radio, and translate those techniques to social media, didn't count on the fact that there was going to be patriots out here like you to push the meme from the bottom up. That's why they're scared to death of us. Because the NPC meme is the greatest meme. And I saw someone earlier say, it's like the anti-Pepe. Yes! Finally, people are understanding that Pepe was about it's us. It's about me. It's about you. It's about us in charge. And the NPC meme is about they. It's about they are not thinking. They are buying like sheep. They are only parroting talking points from the leadership. It's literally why you can sell the meme, take me to your leader. It's like literally been in existence since the 1940s. Like, that's what these people are doing. That's why this meme is crushing them. It's literally shattering their own paradigms. I love it.
Do you want to see how they're becoming the meme, unironically and subconsciously? Like, because if you watch from afar, you know that they are the meme. Like, they are a parody of themselves. What happens when the parody, like, what happens when an AI bot reaches the stage of self-awareness, James?
Yeah.
Does it become a killing machine? Like, does it whack on a black mask and kick in a Starbucks window, perhaps? Or does it deconstruct itself? Does it implode? Does its head explode, and does lava flow out of its neck onto the street, James, all over the protest banners? What we're about to see, what the NPC meme does, is actually accelerate that process of self-awareness. And if you are like a very shallow, unthinking, buzzword-orientated, horrific ideology-infused NPC who then becomes aware of their own, cognitive environment, it could be absolute meltdown in more ways than one. And I think we're starting to see it. And, God bless the people who help accelerate it. Look at this. Slate. Why can't Democrats get angry?
I
know I caught you off guard.
Oh, I'm going to pass out for real.
I caught you off guard there. I think it's because this is a subheading. I think it's because our misogynistic society has pushed them into the same corner women have been forced into. But there's a way out, James. The salient feature of now-seated Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh's testimony during the hearing that was intended to assess whether he had committed sexual assault in his youth was, as many have noted, his anger. It was anger that made him lash out inappropriately. I thought it was the accusation of gang rape. Pardon my French. No, he's just angry. Just an angry white guy. Anger that contorted his face in a way that made many viewers feel sick. He thought this anger would substitute for integrity, and he was right, or right enough anyway. He didn't fool everyone, but he did at least shout them down. Meanwhile, the salient feature of Christine Blasey Ford's testimony was her calm, measured, deferential demeanour, complete with tension-diffusing apologies and jokes. I am not the first person to point out how heartbreaking this was to witness, that even while talking about an experience traumatized her for decades, she obeyed the unwritten cultural injunction that women must manage not only their own feelings, but the feelings of everyone around them, okay? What I haven't seen discussed, though, is the way these same restrictions have constrained the entire Democratic Party, James. The left, even the moderate left, is feminized in this country to a degree that I have come to believe actually restricts its avenues for acceptable self-expression. One of the memes that we know is, think about it, soy boys, beta males, right? Male feminists. These are the memes. Those skinny guys who haven't washed their hair in a long time, probably dye it purple. There was that tweet going around last week with one of these beta male soy boy types getting in the face of police officers like, F you, are you going to shoot somebody today? Blah, blah, blah. Here is the left literally admitting to its audience on Slate that, yes, our men are like females. And that's why they don't get angry. That's why they don't react. So they're actually sexist, right? So one, they're saying that all of these reactions are, inherently female. Hang on. I thought gender was a construct.
Right.
I thought male and female, I thought we're all equal here. Apparently not. And worse than that, we've actually turned our men into women. Believe it or not. Look at this. The left, even the moderate left, is feminized in this country to a degree that I believe come to believe that actually restricts its avenues for acceptable self-expression. Our weird cultural commitment to the gender binary goes way beyond actual living men and women. If it didn't, people wouldn't freak out so badly when someone declines to choose. Masculinity and femininity are concepts we layer on top of everything from people to pens to political parties. Sometimes there's a middle ground, but often we seem lost without our familiar patterns. Here they are admitting that the breaking down of concepts, like even biological science itself, can lead to people seeming lost and unable to regulate their emotions. Who would have thought? Who would have thunk it? They're actually arguing the conservative platform right now, and they don't even know it. They don't even realize it. That's the power of the meme. They are becoming the meme in every sense of the word. Yes, we are feminized. Yes, we are. Yes, we don't know how to, control our emotions. Yes, our men are more like women than they should be. This sounds like conservative talk to me. Here's one more. Do you have a comment on that before we go to the next story? Or?
Just keep rolling, bro. Just keep rolling because we are on a roll.
Just keep rolling.
Oh, by the way, let me make one comment. I want to say, while we're still on the subject, before we get too far afield, I want to say this is why I talked to all of you people last year about building a community, about getting together, about doing Zooms with each other, sharing safely so that you can get to know people without having to give up your home address, your home phone, all of the information you didn't want to give out, whatever it was. And I have watched that community grow. I've watched Millie take the reins of our little group and really is become the central hub to make sure that everybody is kind of in touch with everybody. I've watched Kimmy become a central figure of female leadership in our little group. I've watched the people around them coalesce around certain groups of people and certain leaders in those groups, but they're not like, nobody's like dictating to anyone. It's just, what I'm saying is that I've watched the community grow, and I'm watching it grow more and more every day. And I wanted to say that thank you to everybody out there. Thank you for all you guys are doing for all of us. Every single one of you. And if you want to grow with us, if you want to become a member of that community even stronger, if you feel like you need more, or you just want to be around some of these cool people that hang out with us, reach out to Millie, Kimmy Y Censored. Reach out to me. Reach out to Sandra. It's Sandra Jones. She just commented on the screen. Reach out to Stefan Sears, Blonde Mama. You can reach out to any of them. We'll bring you into the room where everybody just kind of hangs out and shares everything. It's over on Telegram, and it's a much more fun experience than you'll ever have on Twitter from a community point of view. And it's not there as a gossip chamber. That's not what it's about at all. In fact, the rules of our room there are no fucking rules. We don't care. Do what you got to do. It's literally about being you for who you are and hanging out with some like-minded people, sharing anything. I mean, you would not believe what gets shared in that room. And I'm not telling you either because I don't want to be embarrassed. But
look, I have to say, though, don't reach out to me because I would get offended. And I really dislike the fact that you're bringing more bigots into our safe space. And I don't know how you can laugh at a time when minorities in America and the world have never been under threat as much as they are now. And with climate change getting to a certain point, you really are a Trump tard, and I really don't think we should be encouraging, I think, my feelings matter. I'm a real human being. I have real emotions and real thoughts and real opinions. James, back to the price of fear, which will soon be extinct thanks to climate change. I hope you're aware of that. GOP finds an unexpectedly potent line of attack: immigration. Unexpectedly potent? This is the New York Times. Who would have thought that immigration policy was a successful campaign strategy for the Republican? Again, what's our theme tonight? The left are becoming parodies of themselves. This is the New York Times. Washington, not long ago, as heart-rending images of migrant children separated from their parents at the border filled the airwaves, the issue of immigration seemed to be losing some of its potency as a weapon for Republicans with the midterm elections approaching. That's a fair point. I'll give them that point. But Republican candidates across the country leaning on the scorched earth campaign playbook employed by President Donald Trump. Were you aware of the campaign playbook, which is burn it all down? I thought that's what the Democrats were doing, physically in the real world. Aren't they the ones throwing Molotov cocktails at buildings when Milo Yiannopoulos gets up? The gay Jew guy with all of the opinions that they don't like. Yes, it's very offensive. Global warming, etc. I have feelings too. I'm a real human. Saw an opening nonetheless, painting Democrats as the ones pursuing, listen to this, President Donald Trump saw an opening painting Democrats as the ones pursuing an extreme immigration agenda that would fill the country with sanctuary cities where violent criminals roam free. They actually put sanctuary cities in quotation marks like it's a made-up term. like it's not a real thing. There are no sanctuary cities. No, Donald Trump is painting Democrats as the ones who want sanctuary cities. Like, it's not really happening. The strategy in play in a growing number of races may be working. As a tight battle for control of Congress enters its closing weeks, Democrats have found that in particularly, it's been a long day, politically competitive states, particularly ones that Mr. Trump carried in 2016, the attacks can easily turn crucial voting blocks against the Democrats. Here they are admitting that the immigration line works for the GOP. They're not admitting that their own politicians have the wrong, the unpopular view of immigration. They're actually saying, no, it's a construct. It's all a made-up reality by the Republicans. It's not really that way. Sanctuary city, quote unquote, who ever heard of that? I've never heard of that. That's not a real thing. Don't be silly, you crazy right-wing bigot. Sanctuary
gender is a construct.
Gender, everything's a construct. But listen to this. They actually quote from a Democrat strategy memo that was handed out to Democrat politicians. They are literally printing their strategy in the New York Times. And you can translate that into they're giving their readers the playbook. Like, this is what you have to do. This is how you have to go out and sell. I'm not joking. I swear, if a blue wave was imminent, James, why would they be printing their strategy playbook in the New York Times? Can anyone answer me that? Why would Barack Obama be campaigning? It is all a gigantic charade. Now, I'm not American and I don't live in America, but what I do know is, PR language and hack political tomfoolery when I see it, having studied it for long enough. And politics is essentially a game of massaging and managing expectations, right? That's really what politicians care about. That's why they answer everything in ambiguous terms and don't like to give yes or no answers to anything, because they have to massage the expectations of the voters. You need to make them feel like you're going to get something without actually committing to doing it. Like, that's the game, right? Sanctuary attacks pack a punch, says a 4-page memorandum prepared by the Liberal Center for American Progress and centrist think tank, isn't that nice, The Third Way. That has been shared about a dozen briefings for Democrats in recent weeks. The New York Times obtained a copy of the memo, whose findings are based on interviews and surveys conducted over the summer. Listen to this. Many of the Republican attacks use misleading language and employ overblown claims about the dangers of immigrants. But the fear-based appeal demonstrates how Mr. Trump has overcome months of negative headlines about his hard-edge immigration policies to make the issue a potentially profitable one as Republicans try to preserve their slim Senate majority and defy projections that they will lose the House. The Democrat Party is admitting that you are winning. This is the Democrat language for the Trump supporters. We can't get them to change their vote. In fact, the more we hit him on immigration, the harder they come back at us. We are losing on this particular fight. Listen to this. Democrats, the strategists who prepared the memo advised, could neutralize the attacks if they responded head on, but they should spend, quote, as little time as possible talking about immigration itself and instead pivot to more fruitful issues for Democrats like healthcare and taxation. I have lost count, James, of the amount of interviews I've seen with Democrats on MSNBC, CNN and ABC over the last 3 weeks where all they talk about is healthcare and taxation. And whenever an immigration question is brought up, guess what happens? Well, you know what? I think there's a way that we can treat people fairly who are seeking a better life, and it's wrong to rip children away from their families. But really, when I'm out in the community, you know what people are asking me about? It's about healthcare and taxation. And then they're off. Then they're off at the races. Then they're talking about their buzz points once again. Insert NPC meme here. The strategists worry that Republicans' foreboding immigration message is far more personal to most voters than the more modulated position of the Democrats, whose push to protect the young immigrants known as dreamers and to ensure humane treatment of undocumented people does not, in many cases, affect voters themselves. One more, and then I want to go to you, James, about, you know, how they're telling you how to combat this. But just to reiterate, right? Quote, "It is very difficult to win on immigration with vulnerable voters in the states Trump carried in 2016. This is a quote from Democrat strategists. They are printing their strategy in the New York Times. Can you even begin to fathom how dramatic that is? Like these are normally well kept, well guarded documents. Like you never leak this out. The fact that it's in the New York Times, which is a Democrat friendly newspaper, suggests to me that it was leaked on purpose. Now, that might mean that it's a false alarm, like it's a red herring, but I don't think it is, based on the fact that, you know, again, Barack Obama is out there campaigning and they're actually doing what this memo says. You know, get it off immigration. Don't talk about immigration. Quote, "Even the most draconian of Republican policies, such as family separation and threats to deport the dreamers, undocumented immigrants who were brought to the United States of children have failed to sway most of them, the Republican voters." They are saying that you're winning. Their message isn't breaking through. James, just before I go back to you, a quick sports analogy. Let me just get that off the screen. A sports analogy for you. When a coach is, when they fire a coach, you know what the thing that they always say is, he lost the dressing room, right? Do you know what that means?
Yes.
It means he might be the greatest strategist of all time. He may have the best game plans of all time, but if the players aren't listening to him, it's essentially worthless. In politics, politicians would rather be hated and listened to than not listened to at all. And that's the dilemma now facing the Democrats. And here they are in their favorite publication, the New York Times, admitting exactly that. They cannot convince you. They cannot convince you that the Donald Trump's immigration stance is wrong. And they even admit we battered them and battered them and battered them for weeks and weeks and weeks. But yet, in the red states that Trump carried in 2016, for some reason, despite our best efforts, the Trump people aren't changing their vote. This is 5 alarm red flags in the air, comrade. Where do they go from here?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me start off with the most important thing that happened there is that if you want to hang out with Americans, Boogie, it's not a dressing room. It's a locker room. Okay? The dressing room is where, the girls hang out before they go out on stage. The locker room is where men hang out.
Don't be sexist. Remember, our men are now like women, enslaved. Don't forget. Every equal opportunity here.
Yeah, so absolutely, he lost the locker room is what they're saying, and absolutely they've lost, and they're literally what they're really doing right now with this article in the New York Times is this is the equivalent of them being on their knees, groveling, begging you to please vote for them. Like they are reduced to, I'll shine your shoes for you, please, please. They're wrong. I promise you. If you only give us another chance at it, they're wrong. We just can't prove it to you. Like that's what they're reduced to, and I freaking love it. It's time. We cannot feel sorry for these people anymore. They have created a toxic environment. The one that they keep complaining about is created directly by them. The toxicity in America is completely a construct of them telling us all that we're racists, bigots, homophobes, that our opinions don't matter, that we're toxic males, that our male culture is to blame for society's ills. This is their fault, and they can't even see it. But the leadership, we've been telling people forever, it's not the guy on the street that's your enemy. It's the leadership, because they get it. Right. They know what they've done to these people. They did it on purpose. And thank God, finally, we, the American people, were able to come together, stand up, recognize, and actually get a solution in the form of Donald Trump to fix this shit, to absolutely stand up and represent us, we the people, to get rid of this. And here's the best part. Here's the part that they're not talking about yet, but that they will be talking about soon, is that we won more with the nomination of Brett Kavanaugh than we could possibly imagine today. And it has nothing to do with getting our opinions heard. It has nothing to do with us being winning in the Supreme Court. It actually has to do with restoring the rule of law throughout our entire judicial system, throughout our entire country. Because let me tell you, Roe v. Wade is not going away tomorrow, okay? Because of one thing that the left knew a long time ago that they got away with, is it's the law of precedence, okay? Precedence cannot be defeated easily. You have to come at it from the exact right angle to actually be able to overturn precedence. So it's very difficult, but what you can do is start to chip away at the parts of rulings that further eroded constitutional rights of other Americans. That's how you turn a country around, is you fight by the Constitution. And that's what we're going to get. We're going to get constitutionalists, and we're not done yet. There's still, I heard the president in his latest rallies. We're not done appointing Supreme Court justices. This is going to be a glorious time to keep the fight focused on Constitution protects us against the tyranny of the left. It does. Every single hate speech law in America is unconstitutional by its very nature. And yet no one has had standing to challenge it. This is the issue. So now we actually have someone with standing to be able to challenge it, because it can be challenged from people like Jeff Sessions, because the administration itself has standing to challenge rulings like that, because they have access to every federal case in the entire country. That's how you get precedents set. That's how you get precedents overturned, is by fighting the direct constitutional battles. And we're going to win. All of their gains over hate speech laws are about to get wiped out, because every one of them is unconstitutional.
Sure. And, just back to this article again, James, and I'll tweet this out. After the show. I think you can get like 5 free New York Times articles. To be fair, I signed up to the Washington Post and New York Times about a month ago because I want to watch the meltdown in real time. I want live updates. I want the emails. I want to see the NPCs going, their heads exploding when their own opinions are shoveled back at them and their own, bad strategy is exposed for what it is. I want to be there at ground zero. Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night to read this crap. But they go on to say that, this is a perception that is created by the Republicans that, the Democrats have radical ideas on immigration, and then go on to say, yes, because the Democrats want to abolish ICE, right? No, that's not radical at all. But here you have, they admit in the Trump states, and these are the ones that, people should be targeting if they live in those states, if they want to eject the Democrat senators. They are telling you here that the thing that the Democrat senators do not want to talk about in Trump states is immigration. You know what to do. Bombard them. We know, again, as an outsider looking in, James, we know, looking at the stats, looking at the polls and exit polls after the 2016 election, the number one concern for many voters on the right was what? Immigration. Like, that was the big buzz topic. That's why Build the Wall is a meme now. Like, that's why it's a bumper sticker slogan, build the wall, because of immigration. So what you don't want to do in campaigning is give your opponent what they want. You need to give your opponent what they don't want. And here the New York Times, by printing excerpts from the Democrat strategy playbook, that we're so clever here at the New York Times, let's tell everyone what our strategy is for the Democrats. Avoid the topic of immigration. It's toxic. We can't win on immigration in the red states. You know what to do. You know how to put them under pressure, and you know how to try and corner them to try to find a way to answer the questions that they don't want to answer. It's all right there in front of you. So
absolutely. I'm going to second that and third it and tell you this, is that when you're setting the memes, what they want, listen, what the left needs is for one of us, multiple of us, to make a mistake and to go after the wrong thing, to attack immigration from a bigoted angle. That's what they would love to happen, and they can't understand how we've been able to keep our bigotry hidden for 2 years. That's the part that drives me crazy. Is they don't understand is how in the world has these MAGA people been able to hide their racism from us for 2 years?
You've been pushing subconscious bigotry in your rhetoric, you Trump-tard. I don't know how you can even sit there and laugh and smile when so many minorities are at risk in America. We need to eject the orange man immediately.
Yeah, and so I would say just yesterday, I think it was, I retweeted a video of Steve Bannon in foreign countries. And let me say this real quick, because I saw some people. If you're not smart enough to understand today that Steve Bannon never left Team Trump, you're definitely not smart enough to share your opinion in public. Just saying.
Ooh.
Because he has been all over Europe preaching what? The Trump doctrine, the MAGA position, the populist nationalist position. Doesn't mean they agree. Doesn't mean he's the perfect guy on the planet. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if you don't understand that he's still on the same team he was on last election, he's still there. And he's been pushing our agenda quietly all over Europe. And what does that do? What has he been successful at doing? Taking the pressure off of Donald Trump from the foreign governments. Why? Because he's been able to create the same positions in those foreign countries. Leave the EU. That's right. Brexit. Look at Poland. Look at Hungary. Look at what he's doing in France. Look what happened in France. Look at where France was from the point of Macron's election to today. Look at Macron himself.
He's in big trouble.
That's right.
Big trouble.
That's right. And why? Because Steve Bannon's over there working with Marine Le Pen, working in these foreign countries to undermine the EU's positions that are attacking our position. So, I'm not saying that you should all go worship at the altar of Steve Bannon. No. What I'm saying is you need to understand he's on our team. He's been fighting for us on foreign territory. And what my point is in bringing him up is to say that if you listen to what he just recently said about what they have been reduced to, what they are left, where they are at, you start to understand that the country is moving exactly in the way that they all intended it to move. And we're winning, but we have to continue to do our jobs. If we ever stop doing our job, if we ever stop trying to clean this country up, we're going to end up in a place we don't want to be. And it can happen that fast. It can happen instantaneously. That's why we need to stay focused, stay together, understand what we need to do, and meme the shit out of them. Exactly like you just saw. This NPC meme is like perfectly timed to hit at the perfect moment right before the midterm election. And it's destroying them all on its own. Like it doesn't even need any help, but we're going to keep helping.
Yep. Yeah, just to recap, I think we'll take a quick break after this, James, and then we'll come back with the hammering. But just a quick recap. Remember, the NPC meme is now being banished from Twitter for merely, it's not fake news, it's merely throwing back progressive talking points to progressives. Remember, Facebook 2 days ago purged 810 pages and accounts. 2 months ago, CNET. Facebook is setting up a war room ahead of Brazil and US elections. Why is community important? Why is community on these apps important? Because 2 years ago, James, Brazil overturned a ban on WhatsApp. And Facebook themselves, if you think they are the all-seeing eye, if you think they can do no wrong, if you think you can't beat these people due to the demoralization campaign that you are currently under threat of being attacked with, like we're banning everyone. If we can take down Alex Jones, we can take down any of you. So make sure you speak within yourselves on these social media boards. Otherwise, you will be taken down next. If you think it's all like they can't be beaten, guess again. Because Facebook themselves 2 years ago fought to have their own app, WhatsApp, reinstated in Brazil. What did that lead to? That led to the potential election of Mr. Bolsonaro, the Brazilian Trump. Quote, unlike rivals who had far more time on national television, which is awarded based on party size, who bought polished ads, Mr. Bolsonaro ran a scrappy, inexpensive campaign powered mainly by social media. Supporters created hundreds of group chats on the messaging app WhatsApp, which the vast majority of Brazilians use, sharing campaign information, jokes, and what? Memes. Why can't the Democrats be angry? They are admitting to their own audience that they have feminized their own men to the point of being unable to fight against people with confidence, with no fear, who actually back their president. And in the final twist of the knife in the back of the Democrat Party, James, the GOP finds an unexpectedly potent line of attack, immigration. Here they are printing their own strategy and admitting that it doesn't work with people who are backing the president. If you put all that together, you're in front. And again, if you think a blue wave is imminent, you may as well give up now, because Barack Obama hasn't given up. And if it was imminent, he wouldn't be out there campaigning.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, we're going to take a break, but first I want to acknowledge the trolls are in the chat room. We love it. Thanks for joining us. I hope that that red pill's going down nice and sideways, and you will understand by the end of watching us why we are your greatest fear. We'll be right back, folks.
Friend and foe alike, join me, Varun Prasad, every week on the Common Discourse Weekly Roundup podcast. You can follow the show on @TCDTweet on Twitter and Periscope. Subscribe to the show on YouTube, Stream Me, iTunes, or your preferred podcast platform. If you like what you hear, or you would like to express your raging discontent, please consider leaving us a review. The Common Discourse, independent political opinion, thought, and analysis for the people, by the people.
Stop the hammering.
And that is hilarious. Before you normally get in here, let me just say that everything that we just said on the way back out of break was not heard by anyone in the audience because the sound got shut off again. I love it. But thanks. All I did was say thank you to the trolls. We appreciate you being here. Yes, these dudes are watching you. We can't see what's going on. You're back. I know the audio's fixed. I love it. I can't do anything right tonight. But hey, at least you heard that we are doing the hammer.
Ready to rock and roll. I think we're ready. They're still saying no audio, no audio. I can't hear you.
They can hear. I know they can hear now.
Okay, they can hear us now. Well, maybe they'll want to shut their audio off again because coming up next is the voice of Don Lemon.
I know I'm taking a risk saying this, but we just might be at peak crazy right now.
Peak crazy, James.
I want you to listen to President Trump. This is him at his Ohio rally just a little while ago, riffing on Neil Armstrong and managing to work in a slam at Colin Kaepernick at the same time.
He planted that flag, that American flag, right on the face of the moon.
Okay. And And we're reloading again. That's fine. So Don Lemon thinks we are now at peak crazy because Donald Trump mentioned Neil Armstrong planting the flag on the moon and not kneeling. See, silly me. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, James, being an outsider looking in. I thought peak crazy actually occurred before the 2016 election, which is why Donald Trump was elected in the first place, right? Isn't that what they were saying? Like, oh, the world's gone crazy. They've elected Donald Trump. Apparently that wasn't crazy enough. And then when Madonna got out in front of a horde, a gelatinous horde of screaming, shrieking, overweight feminists wearing poorly made, poorly knitted pussy hats, James, announcing to the world that she would like to blow up the White House, I thought, well, maybe this is peak crazy. But guess again, that wasn't peak crazy at all. And then, James, after that, we went into the stage of, remember, everything, the post-truth era, James, everything is now fluid. Everything is up for grabs. How about accusing a potential Supreme Court justice of being a gang rapist who drugs women back in high school? What about senators asking what a boof means in very serious Senate hearings? I would have thought that was peak crazy, but you would be, if you thought that was peak crazy, you'd be wrong. I'm sorry, you'd be wrong. Don Lemons is here to set you straight, suck on a lemon. Sometimes I have to bite on a lemon to keep from smiling when I watch Don Lemon. There's a little one for you.
There was no kneeling. There was no nothing.
No kneeling on the moon.
No nothing. No nothing.
There was no games. Boom.
Boom.
Boom. Right?
And then, of course, there's
Kanye.
everybody's talking about Kanye tonight.
Everybody's talking about Kanye tonight.
Steve Shabbat.
And I never knew I'd say this, but God bless Kanye West.
I like the fact that he said everyone's hearing about Kanye tonight because, as we all know, Don Lemon assumes most of you don't read. So that's fine,
I wonder who told him how to say the name right.
Yeah.
And then President Trump got in another reference to his BFF.
BFF. I like that. That's a nice
And it's
touch.
true. Kanye West, what he did was pretty amazing. Yes.
One word for it. That's one word for it. Kanye's.
This is Don Lemon doubling down, you see. Now, all of the rhetoric was he's crazy, and the various racist terms that were thrown around. Look, I'll be brutally honest with you and the audience, James. The accusations of offensive name, I'm not offended by that. Yeah, I'm not very easily offended. Okay. But here's the key. And it was, what's that word you often like to use? Is it apropos? Yeah. Right? So about a week before all of this went down, I cut a very short little clip from a podcast, and it's explaining why the MSM attack like they do. And to make it very short, if you are on the side of political correctness and your opponent is not, your opponent is free and you are not, because all you can do is attack them by saying how offensive they are. But if you then try to attack in the same kind of manner by being offensive, by mocking, by calling people names, you're really a traitor to your own cause. It doesn't work. You can't flip like that. You've already set the boundary. You've already, decided what the accepted norm is. And for 2 years, you've been saying that this guy is destroying the accepted norm. You then can't jump across the other side of the line and then go, yeah, Kanye, he's just a dumb Negro who can't read. Who told him how to pronounce the name right? All of these people are idiots, blah, blah, blah. Let's laugh at Tucker Carlson. Let's do impressions of him. It doesn't work. It looks sad. It looks sad. It looks like the nerd who gets picked on, right, for a couple of years, and then turns around and tries to act like a jock. You know that nerd? That doesn't work. It lasts for about a week, and then you're back into the naughty corner where you belong because you didn't have the stomach, the gumption to do it in the first place. Because you're not free. You are constrained by the weapon that you're trying to hit somebody else with. Let's carry on with Don Lemon.
Is talking about it too. A source close to the Kardashians telling CNN that Kim Kardashian West is not embarrassed by Kanye's comments.
How awful. She should be embarrassed by Kanye.
Just at the White House meeting wasn't the best forum to represent Kanye's genius.
There's a lot of things affecting our mental health that makes us do crazy things, that puts us back.
See the quote they go to straight away? See the line that they decide to throw up? There's a lot of things according to mental health. Why? Kanye's crazy. It's okay. It's now okay to attack black people with mental health issues. That's fine now. You know, whereas before when Donald Trump said something like Don Lemon is the dumbest man on television, or when Laura Ingraham said shut up and dribble to LeBron James, that was an uncalled for racist attack. But calling someone a dumb Negro who can't read and making fun of their mental health issues, well, that's fine. That's fine, because we're on the side of political correctness. I just wanted to jump in the Wayback Machine, James, to put this into some kind of context. Here's a clip from CNN 2 years ago, actually 2015, when Barack Obama was still president, talking about meetings he had in the White House with particular quote-unquote celebrities. Check this out.
Let's close with the president's event yesterday at the White House, speaking to YouTube stars. I just want your perspective.
Look at the difference in the coverage here.
Campaign in 1992, and people, some were aghast that then Governor Clinton went on Arsenio Hall and played a saxophone. They thought, that's not presidential. This president, you mentioned last week, I think that he sat between two ferns with Zach Galifianakis. Yesterday, he had Glozell Green and two other YouTube hosts in, and you know, some people say
he didn't even say his name right. It's CeeLo Green.
They don't watch traditional news media.
No. He's talking about Glozell Green. You'll find out who Glozell Green is.
Oh, you're talking about that crazy chick that ate the cereal in the milk, right? In the bathtub?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
But see, this is the thing, right? Look at the difference in the way these two stories are presented. So here you have Kanye West, who is he's known worldwide, okay? He is a cultural icon. He is a behemoth of the music industry. For him to meet with Donald Trump is some kind of assault on the presidency. It's a disgusting rape of the White House, James, because this is opportunism. This is horrible. This is disgusting. You know what? The only way we can explain it, he's crazy. He's got mental health issues, right? It's all a publicity stunt. Meanwhile, Barack Obama meeting with comedians who eat cereal out of their own bathtubs. Check it out.
Say this is unpresidential. I will say in her interview, Glozell Green used a couple of words or one reference to the Castros that we will not repeat here on family-friendly television in the morning. But look at this.
Family-friendly. This was before the shithole days. I think it's fine.
Okay, my mama said whenever you go to somebody's house, you have to give them something.
This is great for the White House. This is fantastic.
I have green lipsticks, one for
yes.
Handing the president green lipstick.
I mean,
very serious.
You know something I don't?
Oh.
See how chummy he is. Remember, they were just talking about how he's gone on Zach Galifianakis. Remember, he went on Saturday Night Live, James. This was all normal when Barack Obama was president. It was normal to be a celebrity. Do you remember that?
Yep.
He would go on ESPN. He call a couple of innings of a White Sox game once from the box in ESPN. This was all very normal behavior for this president. To meet with rappers. Do you remember the rapper he met with who actually had rape lyrics?
That was the guy that had the ankle monitor that went off inside the White House.
Yep. See, my friend, you know him, the voice of reason, Adam J, brought up a very good point. He's like, it's like the left are living in a memory hole. It's like before the 2016 election. That's all just been put into the memory hole now. Like that's never to be spoken of again. Barack Obama invited a rapper to the White House who rapped about raping women, and that was fine. Like if you said anything about, he may as well be a Supreme Court justice now. Who knows, right?
Yeah. You know, I got to jump in here because this is a very, very, very good point that you just made, and I'm going to tell you this: I 100% agree with the left, and here's why. You need to understand what we have been telling you for over 2 years. You are not to defend anything. You are on attack. That's what they're doing. The entire memory hole plan is exactly what we were talking about. It is exactly what their intention is. This is why you see experts on the field like Dinesh D'Souza, like I'll even say Alex Jones. I'll even tell you people all the way to Donald Trump. Hypocrisy does not work. You cannot stand here and point out how hypocritical the left is because they don't give a shit. Reality does not matter to them. What matters to them is their ends. Their ends is socialism. Their ends is global domination. Their ends is we must do things their way, and anything else is fuck you crazy. That is what you have to understand about the left. This is why you look at them and you go, I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. They're being so hypocritical. Yes, because they don't care. It doesn't matter to them. What's left is good. What's right is bad. That's it. It's that simple. It's that easy. Quit fighting on their terms. They don't care about what the truth is. They don't care about what the facts are. Only you and the middle do. Understanding that will lead you to the enlightenment of how to successfully meme. You must be on attack. Always. Do not defend yourself. We know you're not racist. We know you're not bigoted. We know you're not uneducated. We know that you get it. And you are there to defend the Constitution from the onslaught of the left who wants to change it. We get it. So don't defend the points. Just attack with knowledge, with information, with facts, but always do it from a point of attack, never from a point of defense. And you will start to understand why you see what you see.
Well, that's easy for you to say, you bigot, from your Trump-tard position of white privilege, which I'm sure. But the reality is we just want a more harmonious and tolerant society for all. And anybody who stands in the way of that is obviously a far-right bigot and a Nazi. So it's, you know, I don't even know how you can sit there and laugh and smile when so many minorities and women and sexual assault victims are at risk in the United States today, James. It's quite sickening, actually. You know, and to hell with you, to hell with a lot of you. I'm sick of all the bigots, all of them. All right, let's carry on.
For the first lady and the first children.
And the first, I'm teasing.
Oh, isn't it nice?
I love that.
Big laughs.
You know, you get a little nervous when you interview the president, right? It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
Turning in on our toss. It's so special, John.
Okay, you know what? You get a little nervous when you interview the president. A woman who eats cereal out of her own bathtub, handing the president green lipstick, James. You know what? I love that. That's so cute. That's so awesome. Now, let's cut to the current day and see the difference in how, you know, not even a YouTube star, but an actual global star of the music industry, how his visit to the White House was received by the mainstream press. Let's go.
Beautiful. Since you talk about picking up a text or a book, for those of us who've seen this and we take this as something that happened in the Oval Office, this was a newsworthy event, but for many people in a tragic sense.
Tragedy.
What would you say is the learned or informed response to what Kanye West said in the Oval Office in front of Donald Trump today?
Yeah, because as a viewer of MSNBC, don't you want to be intellectual? Don't you want to have a learned response? Do you want to know what the learned response is? It is rhetorical sewerage. Check this out.
Which was the claim that to bring up Donald Trump's flirtation with and sometimes support of white supremacy is to try to control a vote or tell people how to vote by their identity.
Yeah.
This is white supremacy by ventriloquism. A black
Yeah. Kanye has a Nazi's hand up his rectum, James, mouthing the words. He's not even his
white racist ideals are flowing from Kanye West's mouth. Really? Kanye West is engaging in one of the most nefarious practices yet. A black body and brain are the warehouse for the articulation and expression.
What's our theme for tonight? What is he saying Kanye is? There's a hint. There's a hint for you. He's saying Kanye West isn't a free thinker. Kanye West isn't his own man. Kanye West doesn't have his own opinions. Kanye West is merely an NPC for the white supremacists. Kanye West is being programmed with white supremacist ideas, James. Right? There it is. There it is in all of its glory. And the difference between that and, you know, we meet somebody who, you know, again, we can go on all the late night talk shows. We can dance with Ellen. We can call baseball games. We can invite people who literally eat cereal out of their own bathtubs. And in the real world, in the NPC world, James, Don Lemon asks you this.
Just might be at peak crazy right now. I know.
You don't say, Don. You don't say, mate. You don't say.
This is him at his
peak crazy, huh? There's your hammering, James.
On Neil Armstrong.
Awesome hammering, everyone. Awesome go. Here we go.
He planted that flag, that American flag, right on the face of the moon.
You gotta love that, folks. You gotta love that Boogie is so good at this shit that we can tie the entire night's shows all the way right through into the hammering, and it all makes sense. It all ties together. You understand what the meme is. So now that you understand
James,
what the...
Sorry, James, sorry to interrupt, but before you use the word tie, can you please let me know? Because that's actually quite triggering, because when you think about people being incapacitated in issues of sexual assault and stuff, often they are tied up. And, you know, I think there's people out there that would appreciate some kind of warning, you bigot, you Trump-tard. Like, you should know better by now. This is why we have to vote out, and the orange man needs to be impeached.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. So we have been watching the chat. We love you guys out there. I love how the left, see, this is what the trolls have, their new direction now is the same direction, right? They don't have anything new. So what are they trying to do? The same thing I told you was going on when you look at what the right establishment candidates were talking about with this whole kumbaya, peace for the good of the nation, right? They want us to go ahead and let the left get away with all the crazy. Now, you guys are crazy. We're calling you out, and we're standing up, and we're saying no more. I don't care if you think it's divisive. You know what the game is? The game is #we win. You know what my comment is on that? Fuck you. We're not taking your shit. We're not letting you get away with it. We are going to take our country back, and you can't come in here and change anybody's mind, because we don't give a shit. We no longer give two shits what you think. You've proven that the only thing you care about is the destruction of America. The only thing you care about is your way or cry way. That's what you're doing. It's either my way or I'm going to throw a fucking hissy fit and I'm going to stand in the middle of a fucking street with a baton in my hand and direct old people that they can't drive down my street. That's what you've been reduced to. A bunch of bullies. You know what? Fuck you. If I see you, that's what my comment to you is. So just remember that. We don't care. You can troll all you want. You will get no traction. We are here to help inform Americans of what you're actually doing. What you're really trying to achieve is you want us to go back to sleep and let you get away with your crazy bullshit. Nope. Fuck you. We're fighting everything. You are losing. You will lose on every single hate speech law you have created. It will be wiped out. You will lose on every single time that you have stepped on an American's Fourth Amendment right. You are going to lose it. You are going to lose at the border. We're going to build the fucking wall. We're building the goddamn building. That's what I have to say to you. Thanks for being here. I hope you learned something.
Don't be Nazis. Impeach the orange man. Kavanaugh's got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. Thanks for joining us, guys. Remember the podcast. On iTunes.
Thanks for joining us, guys. We love you. We will see you later. Aloha.